Hello! For today's movement series, we are looking at the push-up, which can be a challenging movement for a lot of people. They feel like maybe they don't have enough upper body strength or enough core strength to do the movement properly. So what we're going to do today is go over the proper form for a push-up, the different types of push-ups, and different ways to progress this movement and to regress or perhaps modify this movement. So with a push-up, essentially we're in a high plank position, and with our arms, a lot of people either have their arms right along their sides, which is an option. That is more tricep focused rather than chest focused. Or they have them out here. We want our elbows to do a standard push-up at about 45 degrees, right? We don't want our arms up here. We want them about here, okay? So our elbows are still going back, but they're not right beside our sides. Okay? And with this movement, we want to try to keep a straight line from our shoulders to our hips to our heels. A nice straight line, move down together, move up together. A lot of people maybe like this, have a little bit of a swoop or a sway. We want to keep the core engaged, shoulders back and down, so nice straight line here. Again, elbows are going out at a little bit of an angle, and then back up. Again, this may be a challenging movement for a lot of people, and that's okay. It's okay. Something to definitely work up to. But what we're doing, we want to try to get that 90-degree bend in the elbow. Again, that's what we're aiming for. Some people go a little farther. Some people may not be able to go down that far. And again, that is okay. So with that push-up movement, again, keeping that straight line, inhaling down with the movement, and then exhaling with the push-up. Keeping the core engaged and moving, again, as your whole body rather than, just the chest or the head or just the hips. None of that. Keeping the belly button pulled up. Inhale down, exhale up. And nice straight line. We don't want to be looking at our toes or up, anything like that. Nice neutral spine, looking down, maybe just a little bit ahead of the fingertips. Okay? So that is the proper form for a push-up. We'll first start with the regression of this. So the more at an decline you are, more horizontal you are, the more challenging it is. So the higher we are, the more we elevate our upper body, the easier it's going to be. So having a step or perhaps something like a chair, a countertop, a couch, something like that may make this movement a little easier. Now, depending on how your wrists are, and the type of surface you're using, this may get a little challenging. Now for this chair, it isn't very wide. It's more narrow than what I would normally have my hands for a push-up. So with this, I may have to hold on to the sides, and my elbows may go along my body rather than out like a normal push-up. So here, rather than just going out, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna be bending like this, and that's not okay. We wanna try to keep our forearm kind of more or less perpendicular to the floor. Not that. Ugh. Don't do that. Even in this movement, if you were going straight back along your side, I'm going to do this one on my knees, you're still kind of perpendicular to the floor and not going all the way down, because you're not going to be able to get back up. So that would be a modification coming up at a little bit of an incline. The most easy version would be along the wall. You're moving your chest towards the point of contact, not your belly and not your forehead. That's a big issue I see a lot of, again, or you want to lead with the chest and remember to breathe. And with that, if you were using a chair, your hands are almost at your chest or even your bra line. Again, not up here, not. But if you're doing that tricep push-up, Again, your hands may be just right under your shoulders. Another variation to make it a little easier would be on your knees. Same idea, kind of like what I just showed you. You can keep your knees up or your feet up or down, but you want to move in one movement. You want to keep the body nice and straight, nice and tight with the core, not this. You see how that's an issue? I always have to yell at people, bring your hips with you, right? Bring your hips with you, inhale down, exhale up. Okay? So that would be another modification of that particular movement on your knees, on the floor. If you had a step, something a little higher, but you can't quite do that on your feet, you can still do it on your knees on an elevated step. A little bit easier than doing it on the floor, on your knees. So that is an option. Now, of course, to make it harder, what you can do is create some instability. So having something like a Bosu, where you have to have your hands on here. It's a little unstable. You're working the stabilization of the shoulder and the core. You can create an elevation, an uneven elevation. So having one hand a little higher, you're gonna, so for example, having a ball and doing a push-up here, you're getting a little more flexion of the shoulder here. So it's having to work a little harder than this arm. This arm's still working, but yeah, you're going a little bit deeper with this arm than what you normally would. So that is an option. Now you can always make it a little more aggressive by adding a clap. But another good one that is, I don't want to say simple, but a little bit easier than the clap, would be, and you can even do this one on your knees, is a hand release push-up. So where you come all the way down, hand release, keeping the core tight, coming all the way up. So this, again, allows you to go a little bit deeper into that push-up, but your muscles are having to work a little harder because down here they relax and then they have to re-engage. One issue I see with this is they come all the way down, they use their hips to help them come up. We don't want that. We want to be able to push the arms, push the chest, and making sure we're doing that appropriately. Now, again, if you still need this to be easier, if push-up isn't where you're at quite yet, even on the wall or along a countertop, you can use some bands and do a chest press motion in that way, or even using dumbbells. Doing a chest press is essentially an upside down push-up, right? Nice and controlled. Inhale down, exhale up. With the band, if you're using the band, make sure you have it properly secured around a pole, something that isn't going to move. And same kind of movement. Exhale, inhale back. Exhale, inhale back. You can always do one arm at a time. Doing both, making sure you're using the chest muscles. Squeeze as if you're trying to push the chest together and controlled back. So that is the push-up. If you have questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you soon.